All right, Brad, we are back after a long time. It's been like 9 days or something since we last recorded.
Did that Saturday show, and then we had, weekend sweeps, and I will just forget what happened in between. But, lot of stuff this week, man.
So when we last left you, the Giants were in the midst of taking 3 from Cleveland. Did they take all 3, right?
They took all 3. Yeah, we had a weekend sweep and then a debacle in what is that? Queens, right? New York is the Mets are in Queens. So the debacle in Queens, and then which again, it felt like we were in almost every single one of those losses, and then a sweep this weekend. So, if you're gonna 7-3 on the trip so far, they're in Milwaukee right now, down 1-0 in the 6th. So say you end the trip 8-3 or 7-4. That's a good trip. I mean, considering that they had to go to the East Coast, to basically start the season on the road.
And we have the game on in the background here. We'll, if the game gets tight, if there's some cool stuff happening, we'll throw a little watch-along action going on. But right now it is 1-0. This was the Giants bullpen game because they just finished the sweep of the Nationals, and then they're coming back, but then they had to stop off in Milwaukee because of this Manfred schedule, and so they're playing one in Milwaukee, and then they have to run into the Cy Young, and he's dominating.
God. Yeah, when I saw when they announced yesterday that it was going to be Corbin Burns, I was like, "Come on, man. We're trying to end this trip on a high note."
The bats have been asleep, and he's a stud. So, I was thinking what if they get to their bullpen? But their bullpen is really good too. So we'll see. They had a couple runners on the last inning. Belt got hit by a pitch, and then I think Darren Ruff struck out to end the inning.
I think Devin Williams has been having a tough go at the beginning of the season.
So much so that he got cut in our fantasy league.
Yeah, exactly. And I almost picked him up. I think he's still out there. But, we don't value relievers who don't get saves in our league, which we might change that next year. Breaking news announcement. We might.
It's kind of hard because the only other category is holds, and holds are kind of weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I picked up training for the Dodgers only because I was like, well, Kimbrel, we'll see what happens with Kimbrel. And if Kimbrel doesn't do well, then maybe they have training kind of close in there because Jensen went to the Braves. So I'll probably hang on to him. But if it gets past half the season and he's not closing games, then he's kind of useless and I got to toss him away.
Yeah, and I played in a league once with holds, and it was so hard because you'd get a guy who would get 2 or 3 holds in a week, and then he may never get a hold again for 2 months.
Yeah.
So then you're like, great, now I've got this great guy who can get me all these holds, but it just wasn't panning out. I mean, because let's look at holds for this season. The Giants have 12 holds so far this season in. What's their record? 11-5.
11-5.
11-5. So in 16 games, they have 12 holds, and you can get multiple holds in a game. So that's where a bullpen like the Giants, is really nice because, especially if you have a bullpen game like this, if you have a lead and guys come in. Again, I don't know the exact criteria for the holds. But leading the league in holds right now is the Chicago White Sox bullpen. They got a nasty bullpen, but they're also just not winning games. So kind of a weird start to the season. We knew it was going to be. I mean, abbreviated spring training, guys signing super late, not getting comfortable unless your name is Jock Peterson. So you got guys, still trying to get comfortable with their homes, their apartments that they just moved into a week before the season started.
Yeah. All right. So we'll kick things off here. Actually, let me give folks kind of a little bit of the rundown, and all of a sudden I don't have my rundown in front of me. So, okay, we're going to skip the rundown. I'll find it, but we'll hit the intro, and then we will come back and we will talk about what we are drinking, and then we'll start the show.
Bedrosian throws to Sandberg, and the pitch is grounded to second base. Thompson has it, throws to first. It's over. 27 years of waiting have come to an end. The Giants have won the pennant.
All right, so I do have the rundown now.
Sweet.
Okay, we're going to talk about Giants go 4-3. We mentioned a little bit what they did. They're 11-5 currently. We'll talk about our player of the week. There were some medical updates today that came out. We're going to introduce a new segment called the Haterz Watch. We'll talk about the strategy of bunting for hits. They're all of a sudden drag bunting all over the place.
Yeah, I
against the
love
shift.
that. Yeah.
And then I'll have a segment for Brad called "Are You Worried?" or "Are You Worried Yet?" And then, if we have time, we are both fans of MLB The Show, and we'll do a little review for people because we've had the game now for a few weeks, and we're both what the kids call grinding. We're grinding through the game to get our XP and all of that jazz. So before we do that, Brad, what are you drinking?
I went ahead the marvelous Miss Maisel route. Got myself some Four Roses.
How is this new season to that show, by the way?
You know, it's pretty good. We're only a couple of episodes in. We had to get caught up. So I think we watched the last 2 episodes of the last season because it had been so long. We're about 3 episodes in, and it's been all released as well. They did the weekly thing, but it's all out. And it's just as good as the other 2 seasons or 3 seasons, really, because I think this is season 4. But it's fantastic. I mean, Susie has taken a little bit of a bigger role in this one, because of I won't spoil anything, but in the past, if you've watched it, she had some gambling issues, and so they're kind of playing a little bit more into that, and also her becoming a manager and coming into her own and everything. So it's good. We're really enjoying it. We finished Vice Principals, which is an older show. If you put Danny McBride in anything, I'll watch it. So it's we just finished that actually 2 nights ago, and that was great. I really enjoyed that.
All right, so let's talk about what we are drinking. So I teased you a little bit because I took a photo of a highball glass. Yeah. And I was going to have a highball with my new glass, but then I had some diet soda and I was like, I kind of want a Jack and Diet Coke. So that's what I have. Nice. Jack and Diet Coke.
I like that.
I got I took Issa, our young puppy, to the vet. She had to get her flu shot, and there was a Taco Bell there, and I decided, you know what? I need a refreshing soft drink. And so I got it, and I was like, perfect. Let's just have a Jack and Diet for this show. I'll save the highball for next week, though.
What did you get to eat?
Nothing.
Is that it? You just went through there and grabbed a soda?
That was it. They were pretty disappointed in my order, to say the least.
I don't eat fast food anymore. I'm not opposed to it. I just don't eat it because it's not my thing anymore.
Yeah.
But if I were to go into a Taco Bell and somebody said, "What do you want?" 2 beef burritos and probably a soft taco. Yeah. I miss those, and they brought back the Mexican pizza.
The Mexican pizza.
Yeah, I might have to do that again. I mean, that's probably the only fast food I eat. We'll hit In-N-Out Burger if you consider that fast food. I guess it is, but it's a little bit more.
It's not really that fast, though. It kind of takes a long time.
It's not. No. It's here in Reno. There's 2, and you can go at 10 o'clock at night on a Tuesday, and you're gonna wait in line like 10 cars deep. So yeah.
All right, what are you drinking?
All right, so I got that Four Roses, and 1 ice cube, as I usually do.
There you go.
And it's fantastic. I grabbed a beer, but I'm not drinking as much beer. So I grabbed it, and it's an Atomic Torpedo. So Sierra Nevada makes a Torpedo IPA, which is one of my favorite IPAs. But then now they make an Atomic Torpedo. So it's 2% higher. So it's like 8.2%. And I thought, I haven't eaten much today. So if I have that and I'm doing the show, I might be just belligerent already. Belligerent by the end of the show. And I didn't want to do that to the listeners. I wanted them to stay with us. So.
All right, so I guess the first thing to do is let's talk a little bit about this channel. If you are listening to the podcast feed, you know that we are no longer the Thompson and Clark podcast feed. We are still the same show, but we've added the death lineup about the Golden State Warriors. We're 4 episodes into that. The Red and Gold Standard. That is, they've had a bunch of episodes that we've been able to add. And draft week is coming, so they'll have another episode very soon. 49ers don't have a pick in the first round because they traded up to get Trey Lance last year. But, there's so much news about Debo. They've done like 3 episodes on Debo because of all the news coming out about him. And I really blame the Rams for this whole situation with Debo because they kind of kicked off this, like they went a little left when all these teams were like, draft picks are important. We need to hoard all these draft picks, the salary cap. And then the Rams go, A, we don't care about the draft. And B, we don't care about salary cap. And C, if we suck in 5 years, so be it, because we're going to have Super Bowls. And so now you see all of these teams kind of like just the money that's going around is so insane. Like the wide receiver deals. Jacksonville paid Christian Kirk all kinds of money to be, I guess, their top receiver for Trevor Lawrence. And I mean, we've all had Christian Kirk in fantasy, and he's not even a good fantasy player.
No,
I mean, he's okay, but he's not a top level fantasy player. So he's getting a ton of money. Stephon Diggs, all these guys. So Debo's like, where's mine?
Yeah.
And the 49ers are like, yeah, you're going to get yours, but we also have a salary cap and all these, so they have to figure out what's going on.
But then when you look at the Rams, he probably looks at the Rams too, and he's like, but they have a salary cap too, and they keep giving out 5-year contracts.
I'm telling you.
But the other thing with Debo too, he's probably looking at it too, like, man, he's a running back basically, so he's getting pounded.
Yeah,
but he wants wide receiver money, which I get.
He's also off injured even before they put him at running back. So in the NFL. You got to get yours early, man, because if you wait and then you look at, I mean, the poster child for this is Le'Veon Bell, right?
Oh, yeah.
Le'Veon Bell.
Too. Look at Todd Gurley.
Le'Veon Bell's like the best player in the league for like 3 years. And then it's time for him to get paid. And by the time for him to get paid, he's already done.
Yeah.
He's like, they're like, oh, yeah, you're not great anymore. So you're not getting paid. So essentially, we had you for all those years. And you were great on the low salary, and we're not going to pay you more for those years. And that's just the way the NFL works. But anyways.
Then look at Todd Gurley, and they give him a huge contract, and he's got knee problems. They give him a huge deal, and the first year of his huge deal is the year the Rams go to the Super Bowl. He fizzles out at the end because of his knee, and then they trade him the next year, and that's it. He's never, he's never been the same, but he's still making lots of money.
You think how much money is he making?
Oh God, he's probably in the like 10 a year right now.
You think?
Oh yeah. I'll look at his contract.
Yeah, look it up because I feel like those NFL contracts, if they're not guaranteed, they're basically worth nothing. And I feel like you could cut a Todd Gurley and then re-sign him for a very low amount of money just because.
Yeah.
All right. While Brad looks at that, let's talk about some other stuff. Giants sit at 11-5.
Mm-hmm.
Only the Dodgers are ahead of them in the West. And our favorite statistic when it comes to which teams are really good is run differential. We've always looked at that as kind of like the, this is what really shows the teams whether they're good or not. And in baseball right now, you can probably guess the best teams when it comes to run differential. 2 of them are the Giants and the Dodgers, again, just like last season. Can you guess the third best team with the third team with the third best run differential?
I would say either the Guardians, I said it right, or the White Sox.
The White Sox are -18.
Wow.
Cleveland is +13. Seattle in the West, in the AL West, is +18. Yankees in the East are +14. St. Louis in the Central +19. But it is your New York Mets who beat the Giants 3 out of 4 games at a +32. They are just below the Dodgers at +44 and the Giants at +37.
Wow. That's, I mean, when I was looking at it the last couple of days, seeing the Giants that high up there, I don't remember them being that high up this early in the season. Their losses haven't come at big expenses, at big run differential margins. So yeah, I mean it's not a shock. Will it stay there all season long? Will it continue to grow? Because anytime you see the Dodgers at this point of the season, you just watch that thing grow. I mean, all season long, the Dodgers run differential just grows the entire season, and with that lineup that they have, that's not out of the question. The Giants can lose a 10-1 ball game, a 12-1 ball game. The Dodgers are not likely to do something like that. So I think the Giants are probably going to kind of stick around where they're at. That'll grow a little bit, maybe. If they have a great season, what was their run differential at the end of the season last year? I want to say, like, if they have a great season,
they were I think they were number 2 in all of baseball, something like that. Yeah,
in run differential.
Yeah, we were tracking that, and then they were doing very well. Them and the Dodgers were like the top 2. So
by the way, Todd Gurley sat at home last year and made $8.4 million.
Oh my God!
So yeah, there's that.
All right, so you did a poll for the player of the week for the week that was. Who give us the poll and then give us the winner.
Yeah, so we do a if you're new to the show, we do a player of the week poll every week. This is our first one of the season because we started on a Thursday, then we had a couple of Saturday shows, and so what we usually like to do is our player of the week is we release our show on Mondays. We do our show on Mondays. Like, this is a normal day for us. And so we will do a poll from the players from that Monday until the following Sunday. So we count that as a week, usually anywhere from 6 to 7 games. So the 3 guys I put out there this time, and there are some weeks like this week, I don't even know why we needed to do a poll because there was kind of one clear winner. But, there's another guy who kind of took some votes away. So Brandon Crawford came in 3rd. I usually put up 3 players. On occasion, I'll put up a 4th. But Brandon Crawford came in 3rd. He had a 276 average, not huge, 318 WOBA, also not huge, but he drove in 7 runs, didn't hit any home runs. So those were all on extra base hits and base knocks, sacrifices, and he scored 4 runs. Coming in 2nd place, I put Jacob Junis on there because he has had a horrific start to his AAA River Cats career. It's just been not fantastic at all. And again, he pitched in Reno. So when you go to these games and you look at the AAA games and you look at where they're playing, you kind of get a feel. The wind was blowing out every single game, 6 games in a row in Reno here. So you get the ball up in the air and it's gone. He was 1-0, and he got into the bullpen game. He was the 2nd pitcher, I believe, in the bullpen game that Slingin' Sammy Long pitched in the other day. And he pitched 5 innings, no runs, 4 strikeouts, and no walks. Just really showed up huge for the Giants. He came in 2nd with 15.4% of the vote. By the way, Brandon Crawford got 0% of the vote. Wow. Who won many of our Player of the Week polls last year. He was just tremendous. And we got a stolen base here. Who we got?
Luis Gonzalez.
Yeah, we got Luis Gonzalez with his first stolen base.
You'll be happy to hear. I think the Brewers are trying to challenge it, but you will be happy to see who replaced Burns for Milwaukee. None other than our not so good friend Trevor Gott.
I saw him warming up in the pen, and I got very excited because I thought, here we go, blown save.
Yes.
Let's look at. We got the replay here. You cannot call him out on that. So winning the Player of the Week poll, guy we talked about earlier, had a gigantic week, and that's Jock Peterson. 364 average, 3 home runs, 6 RBIs, 514 WOBA, just created all kinds of runs for the Giants. Huge in the weekend series against the Nats. In that Nat sweep, he got 84.6% of the vote. Your Player of the Week, Mr.
Gonzalez is safe, by the way. His hand snuck in under the tag.
Yeah,
the tag, which I feel like all middle infielders need to put the tag on the ground. Did they overturned it? Oh my God.
Oh no.
This is the second time the Giants are going to get screwed on a call. There was the one in New York, but
well, there was one actually earlier today too. I was listening in the car to the game, and I can't remember exactly which inning, but there was an overturn on the Giants, and Fleming kept saying, "I can't believe that they're going to overcall this, or overturn this, but they are."
Yeah, there must be something from the MLB office saying that they're not overturning enough of these calls, because that his arm was under the tag, and the tag gets him in the upper arm and his hands extended on the bag. So
yeah. So do you think that's an unwritten rule that they're doing?
The Giants are getting the MLB is getting revenge on the Giants for running up the score.
Speaking of Luis Gonzalez, the Luis Gonzalez, who used to play for the Arizona Diamondbacks, was at Reno this weekend at the Reno Aces game. We went to the Saturday game. My youngest daughter sang the national anthem with her choir, so that was really fun.
That's cool.
Yeah, and he was there signing autographs with J.J. Putz. Remember the closer for the Arizona Diamondbacks, early 2000s, mid 2000s or so, something like that. But they were both there signing, and it was free. And the line was only about 6 people deep when we first got there, and I was going to get in line and just get a picture with them. And I ended up going and getting a bacon wrapped hot dog. Priorities, right? Yeah. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Did the line actually get a little longer?
It did. Yeah. Later on in the game, it was pretty long. Because again, it was free, and they were just, signing whatever you got, baseballs, taking pictures. You stand behind them, they'd take a picture and stuff. JJ Putz had a beanie on, and it was 65 degrees and a little breezy. I don't know if he's ever been to Reno before, but 65 for us is tropical this time of year. So, the rest of us were in shorts and t-shirts, but yeah, it was a good time. We had a good time at the game. But yeah, the Luis Gonzalez, I heard of our Luis Gonzalez, who made his debut with the Nationals, or against the Nationals this weekend for the Giants.
Yeah,
I heard him in a pregame interview with Dave Fleming on KNBR today, and he was talking about how kids used to ask him, because he grew up in Arizona, so kids used to ask him, "Is there any relation to you and Luis Gonzalez?" And he goes, "Yeah, my dad is Luis Gonzalez," which is true, because his dad's name is also Luis Gonzalez. So he said he just got to the point where he would just go ahead and, my dad is Luis Gonzalez, and he's like, "I wasn't telling a lie."
So the reason why I asked you how the line was is because there's a fantastic meme that goes around a lot in the wrestling world here. And so you remember the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase?
I do.
And his male servant, Virgil.
Yes.
So there's this meme.
Who then became a wrestler, right?
Yeah. He was originally a wrestler, but then he went into this character. And then, so there's this meme about one Virgil. Virgil wrestling superstar with no one in the line.
Oh no!
Now, on my guess is
before they opened.
Exactly. Virgil. and Virgil is quite the character. I think he actually he had tweeted that he was went to the doctors and didn't have great news, and so props to Virgil. Hope he's doing okay. But then when you said that, that's what this reminds me of, because somebody decided to take this photo before the wrestling convention started. And now whenever anybody talks about no one in their line, then somebody throws this photo up.
Oh, poor Virgil.
Yeah.
You know what? And I'm not a big wrestling guy, but I know who that is.
Yeah.
So I would be in that line.
Wrestling was so big back then. Back in the day.
And what was it? The Saturday night main event. If Saturday Night Live was preempted, it was because of Saturday night main event. And I loved Saturday Night Live. So, but I knew if the main event was on, I was like, well, I'm watching that instead, because that's awesome. That's the only way I get to watch wrestling. So yeah, those are the good old days, man.
Oh man. All right. So just some quick updates on some players. So Alex Cobb progressing with his throwing, and will throw off the mound today. So probably before the game. DeSclafani had some right ankle inflammation, and he's seeing an ankle specialist in Green Bay today. I didn't know that. I didn't remember him hurting his ankle. Did he hurt it during the game?
You know what? I believe it has actually been hurt for a couple of starts.
Oh, okay.
And he tried to kind of tough it out, but it kind of got the best of him. So that being said, DeSclafani hasn't had the greatest start to the season.
Yeah.
So we haven't seen the best of him yet this season. But being down 2 starters, Cobb and Disco, that's pretty heavy at this early in the season. And there's only 5-6 days left of having rosters expanded to 28 and unlimited number of pitchers.
Yeah, they're going to lose 2 guys, right?
Yeah, they're going to have to lose 2 guys, and you can only at that point have 13 pitchers. So there's going to be a lot of movement. Carlos Martinez, we haven't heard about him. I don't think he's on this list that you sent me earlier today of updates. So that's another guy that could possibly get up to speed and get a spot start. Sean Jelly is on the 40-man.
He had a good start yesterday, I think it was.
Yeah. I just got his card and rode to the show, so he should be coming up soon. Is that how that works? I don't know. So yeah, I mean, being down a couple starters, that's rough right now.
Duggar went on 60-day DL oblique strain, so he's continuing his rehab. Tommy La Stella continuing his rehab as well. He's begun to ramp up running intensity.
Yeah. There you go. I like that.
I think
what does that mean?
I think that just means he is running.
He's running. He's running harder than he was yesterday.
Evan Longoria is back in San Francisco and has started to increase his hitting progression. I think he's taking BP now.
There you go.
Lamont Wade Jr. is going to continue his rehab assignment tomorrow with AAA and expected to play 5 innings. So it seems like he is close, which is great. And then Baby Yaz tested positive for COVID-19 and is quarantining in DC, but I think he is vaccinated and he has also had his booster. So he literally just has to have successive negative tests, I believe, and then he can come back.
Yeah, unless anybody has forgotten, COVID still exists.
It does.
Is still around. It is ramping up again. So just be careful. Be safe out there. Yeah.
All right, new segment. I'm calling it. Actually, going to play some music here as we introduce this segment. It is called
ominous.
The Haterz Watch 2022. Now,
he just looks so happy about it too.
How do I turn off this music? All right. Gabe Kapler said the Giants are not going to stop playing. They do not play by the unwritten rules. They are going to play to the end of the game. They expect the teams who they play to also play to the end of the game. And that has ruffled some feathers with Major League Baseball in 2 specific games this year. So we didn't talk about this. I can't remember if we talked about it or not, or if it hadn't happened yet, but was it the last Indians game or was it the second Indians game? I think we did talk a little bit about
You're
this.
calling them the Indians.
Sorry,
it's the Guardians.
The Guardians.
You should know this by now.
They're gonna have to edit Major League, right?
Please don't. You cannot do. If they did that, there'd be a problem. Go buy your Blu-rays right now before they do anything to our precious Major League. We had talked about so it was not the Guardians. The Guardians didn't have a problem. There was nothing going on. The Giants bunted a lot in that game.
Yeah.
They were up big in a couple of but nothing. Guardians didn't have an issue with anything that the Giants were doing. Last show we had discussed the Padres.
That's who it was.
They had with
they
it.
had the issues.
And then comes the Nationals.
Yes.
And their problems. And everybody's got problems, right?
So the Giants, yesterday they pushed the score up, but it wasn't they weren't. I mean, they were taking the extra base, but I don't think that was a big problem yesterday because they did
Right.
win. What was it, 13 or 12-3?
Yeah, but you know what? They went into the 9th inning only up 5-3.
Yeah,
And then they rolled off 7 runs, or was it 6-3? And then they rolled off 7 or 6 runs in the 9th inning. It was the day before. It was the Saturday game. No, actually, I think it was Friday night.
Friday they
Yeah.
won 7-1, but
Right.
they scored all those runs in the second inning. I thought.
Yeah.
So maybe it was Saturday. I mean, yeah, it could have. Was it Saturday?
No. You're right. It was Friday. It was the Friday
Okay.
night game. I keep thinking Friday. I'm thinking night, but it was a 4:00 start.
Yeah.
So it was the Friday game. The Giants scored 7 runs in the second inning. We get to the 9th inning, and there are 2 outs at this point. And Tyro Estrada had gotten on base. Can't remember if it was a walk or a hit. Then he goes to steal second base. 2 outs, top of the 9th, and they are up by 6. So he gets almost to second base. Ball is hit, drops in. So he's rounding second, rounding third at that point, coming in to try to score. Tag is applied by the catcher hard on his chest. He kind of was laying on the ground trying to catch his breath. Catcher gets up, slaps him on the butt. You good? Everything's good. All right, head back to the dugout. Then it's a problem. then Victor Robles and Alcides Escobar start screaming at the Giants dugout because again, it's not everybody has a problem with it. Obviously, the catcher didn't have a problem with it, or he wouldn't give Tyro a butt slap. He would have stood over him and thrown the ball on him or done something, because he tagged him out, which is what you're supposed to do, right? You're playing baseball. So the ball is hit. You see the runner going. You see that he's going home. So you throw it home and you try to get him out. You play baseball instead of getting irritated about it. That's the way the game is played. It is played hard. It is played from the first pitch to the last pitch. And like we talked about on the last show, if you have a problem with it, Dave Martinez, go over and tell Gabe Kapler, when the 9th inning rolls around, if you're up by 6 or more runs, we quit. We're not going to shift anymore. We're just going to throw fastballs down the middle. Go ahead and bunt them right back to the pitcher so we can get you out, so we can get up there and try to make a comeback.
Yes.
No. If you're trying to come back from a 6-run deficit, there is absolutely no reason the other team should lay over and let you start to make a comeback before they start to play baseball again.
And I think Kapler's argument was the Nationals have a great lineup and they've come back from 6 runs prior, and it's not that hard to do.
Right.
And that's why they were trying to score again. Just you ready for some play-by-play here?
Yeah.
Trevor got.
Oh.
So Kurt Casale doubles with 2 outs.
I'm a little behind you on here. I got Jock Peterson up right now.
And
So
Jock
what
Peterson just took it deep. He said adios to the pelota.
He said, Thompson to Clark just gave me, there it goes. I see it now. They just gave me player of the week. I'm going to reward them. Ooh.
Yeah.
That was a shot. I like
Yes.
that. Yeah.
So obviously he's a good baseball player.
Yeah, for sure.
I think, we look at his stats and we go, he doesn't really hit for average. And I'm sure his average will probably come down.
Mhm. Yeah.
He hits the baseball so friggin' hard.
Yes.
And he's working it early in the season. He's having a good beginning of the season. But you kind of look at that and you go, is this going to be another Farhan thing, right? Is it like everyone wanted the Giants to get all of these guys? Well, everyone meaning us, and look, Seiya Suzuki he's the MVP of all of baseball right now.
Yeah.
But Conforto, now we realize that he's hurt. Castellanos, we were talking about him. He was your guy from last year. And then, we didn't really talk about Jock, but this dude is on fire.
Yeah. You know what I'm going to do from now on? When we have these segments in the off season, we'll go, who do you want? Who do you want? I'm just going to put up a sign that says, whoever Farhan wants.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. I mean, he's obviously got the magic touch. I was talking to our friend of the show, Jeff Thompson, yesterday. He's a big Dodger fan. He loves Jock Peterson, but my buddy lives in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And so we were going back and forth about, he was like, this guy, you're gonna love him. I'm like, I already love him. I mean, he's mashing the ball. What's not to like about the guy? And I said Farhan's going to use him correctly and everything, or not Farhan, but Cap is going to use him correctly. And he's not going to be batting. He's batting leadoff in this game. He batted leadoff yesterday, but that's because of Yaz. Yaz is our true leadoff hitter. I don't even know what a leadoff hitter is anymore nowadays. But what was it, Friday night? I'm looking at the box score. Slater led off. There just is no prototypical leadoff hitter anymore. But we were pretty much talking about, guys going to different teams and why they choose where they go and whatnot. And I mean, when you look at Jock Peterson, he's happy. He's in San Francisco. He grew up a Giants fan. Yes, he played for the Dodgers and he did very well for them there. Won a half-season World Series.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, it's not a real world. It's just a half a season World Series. But and now he's with the Giants and he's happy. He looks healthy. Cap is going to give him the rest that he needs when Lamont Wade Jr. comes back. There might be some times where you've got Peterson starting the game. You get about 2-3 at bats in. Giants are up by 4 or 5 runs. Lamont Wade Jr. comes in to play some defense. Jock Peterson's defense is not bad. I mean, it's above average. It's not fantastic, but it is definitely above average. I think he's just happy right now and having himself a good time.
Yeah. He's been a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
He's got good energy. When it comes to the unwritten rules thing, he's of the opinion of like, I've been waiting to say F these unwritten rules forever. Like, I'm so happy about this.
Well, and you know what? Honestly, I forgot we're still in the hater segment. But I mean, we've got a live game going on. We're Giants fans. What do you think? We're not going to talk about the game, so we're going to talk about the game.
Yeah. It's kind of a live watch at the same time.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
I think that's only their third hit of the game, by the way, and they just took the lead.
Hey, you only need more runs than the other team.
Yeah,
that's all you need. I don't care. You can get no hit and walk 17 times and beat the other team. I'm fine with it. I really don't care, because the next day, you know what's going to happen? You're going to get 12 hits. That's baseball, and we talk about that all the time. We got owned by Yu Darvish the last couple of years, and what do? We get him for 8 runs in the first 2 innings a week or so ago. So that's the way it goes. But yeah, you know what? And I read Grant Brisbee's article in The Athletic today. I wish I hadn't read it until after the show, because as I'm reading this, I'm like, this is all the stuff I was going to say today on the show. He and I are kind of on the same wavelength with all of this stuff. The unwritten rules, they're old, they're dumb, they're silly. There are some I agree with,
but we talk to people, very smart people,
mm-hmm.
who still want to abide by them.
Yeah, there are people that love the unwritten rules, that think that's the way the game should be played. Again, we talked about it before. How many years ago, if you pimped a home run and you flipped your bat, the next guy was going to get killed.
Yeah.
That's just the way it was. It's not like that anymore. So the game has changed in that way. And it can change this way. The Giants are kind of on the forefront of that. And most importantly, they're saying it. They're saying, no, this is what we're doing, and this is why we're doing it. And the other teams will also do the same. If you're up 7-1 on us, we're going to hold your runner on, because we're going to expect you to continue to play the game, to put us out of reach. Because a 6-run, again, the Giants scored 7 runs in the second inning. So who's to say with Juan Soto and Nelson Cruz, you can't go, get a couple guys on, go back-to-back home runs. All of a sudden, it's a 6-5 game. And the Giants, who had rested Mac Cheese and Doval and Trevor Rogers at that point, now all of a sudden, you got to get those guys going. right? And you're on Friday night, game 1 of a 3-game series, and you still have to go to Milwaukee on Monday. So the Giants are playing this game where it's like, if we can go up not just 7-1, if we can go up 9 or 10-1, we're a little more comfortable, and there's a better chance we don't have to get into our the meat of our bullpen. So that's how the Giants look, and everybody should look at it that way. It's good for your team. It's what you need to do. And then my thought too, I told you yesterday, and then Grant had this in the article too. And his thought is kind of the same. It is kind of barbaric and old school and kind of idiotic now to think like I'm gonna walk by your lawn, Garrett, and be like, your lawn is brown. It doesn't look as good as mine. And then what are you gonna do? Throw a rock at me because I said something that offended you? I mean, it just kind of seems silly, out of place. Not so 2022 anymore. But again, like he said too, there's going to be guys, there's going to be managers, there's going to be players who are going to continue to uphold that barbaric idea of, you made me mad, I'm going to hit you now.
Yes.
And I just think it's silly. You know what you do? You're down 7-1. They do that to you. The next day you're up 4-1. Steal every base. Test the players. You know, if you don't have the guys who can do that, get the guys who can do that, because that's what you need to do to be better. The Giants, I mean, I laugh about this, but the Giants are going to make everybody better. And that's what they're going to do, because they're going to say, you want to play baseball? We're playing baseball for 9 innings. We're not playing for 6. We're not playing for 7. We're playing for 9 innings. And so the Giants, in the long run, I believe, are going to make everybody better. How about that? Write that down.
Uh-oh.
I don't want to hear about it. I'm behind.
Mac Cheese.
I see Mac Cheese on the mound.
Mac Cheese just he let it go, man. It became adios pelota for.
So Mac Cheese got.
Yeah, Mac Cheese did his Trevor Gott impersonation, and the game is now tied in the bottom of the 8th, 2-2.
Who we got? Willie Adames. Oh yeah.
Yep.
See, and so he hit the ball. He hit a home run, and he watched it, and he stood. 10 years ago, the next guy would get drilled, or the next time you saw those guys, he would get hit, or some stupid nonsense
I feel like Mad Bum's not even watching this game, and he's stank eyeing Willie.
Yeah.
Right? Just out of instinct.
Well, the other day he hit somebody. I think he hit Juan Soto on accident. You know, was throwing in threw inside on him and hit him. And Juan Soto got up, and Mad Bum walked over and said, "My bad." And everybody lost their minds. They go, "Who is that guy? Why didn't he yell at and scream at him, get up and go to first faster like he used to?" So again, the game, I think it's changing a little bit. I mean, a little bit of courtesy. It's stealing a base up 7-1 is not being discourteous. It's being true to the game. It's being, respectful to the game of baseball, respectful to the fans who came to watch the game. I don't know. My soapbox.
I mean, even though some people think it's disrespectful to the other team, if you think that the other team is good and you want to keep scoring runs, then that you are being respectful to that team, because you're like, you guys are a good team. You can come back.
Yeah.
Take
it as a slap in the face, as if the Giants are up 7-1 and Cap pulls the reins on everybody and says, "All right, everybody, just chill." It means he thinks
all of a sudden we're letting Belt pitch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Then we think you suck. So that's it.
Okay, so we'll bust out the Haterz Watch every time someone gets mad at the Giants for.
It's going to be weekly, man.
Stealing a base. Yeah. Okay, so real quick, we talked about this in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on Bunting against this shift? That is one of the ways that the Giants are trying to, counter some of the things that other teams are doing. They always say, we always hear this about Bonds, like, "Oh, why don't he just bunt for a hit? He's being selfish by hitting all these home runs and then not trying to get on base, but to bunt." And it's kind of silly for Bonds. You probably don't really want Bonds bunting. You just go, nope. It's better for the team that he just hits the way he hits. But you see, like Brandon Belt squaring and dragging. You're seeing guys who, who hit the ball pretty well, utilizing this to get on base. And for whatever reason, the Giants are doing it well. Now, there may be some situations where maybe it works against them because bunting is not super scientific. Like there's a lot of luck involved in getting on base. But, there's no Brett Butler here on the team. Old Bugsy to drag.
With a 13-inch glove.
So what are your thoughts on using this strategy?
I like it. I'm a bunt guy. I'm a fast guy. I'm a little guy. I was the pain in the butt that got on base any way he could possibly get on base. So I'm all for it. Yeah, there are players like Bonds, Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire. You don't want to see those guys bunt because they could pop a home run.
Yeah.
Pretty much every pitch. Belt just tried to bunt for a knock right after Peterson hit the 2-run home run. And he bunted it right back to the pitcher. Who's to say he doesn't swing at a pitch, run into one during that at bat and hit a home run? They're up 3-1. And now with that home run that the Brewers just hit, now they're up 3-2. Who's to say? It's a different game, but also who's to say he doesn't actually execute the bunt and then the next batter knocks one out. So
I just don't know about him bunting after getting his thumb broken last year.
That's, bunting is an art form. You got to be good at it. You got to know what you're doing. And so if they're working on that, awesome, man. That's great. I love it. I really want to see that. It's part of the game. It adds excitement to the game. Maybe there's a little strategy to that the Giants are trying to pull off to say, don't shift on us too much. Or they also know this could be the last year of major shifts.
Yeah.
So let's start trying to steal some on base percentage by slapping it over to the left side on big exaggerated shifts and let's see what we can do. It creates more run scoring opportunities. The Giants don't really have a guy I don't want to see bunt other than maybe Jock Peterson right now. If he slumps, I don't mind seeing him bunt because if the guy hitting behind him, whoever it is at that point, is on fire, do that. Get on base for the next guy who's on fire.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a time and a place for it, and I like the way the Giants are doing it right now. I've always kind of thought, why don't you just bunt into the shift or slap the ball that way? It's and like we know, it's not that easy. You can't just go up there and put the ball exactly where you want it, especially if you want to you're a left-handed batter, you want to push it down towards third base, but the pitcher is throwing in on you. That's a tough task to try to pull off, and that'll get your fingers squashed if you don't know exactly what you're doing. So,
all right, we're doing good on time. We'll do another. We'll do a quick segment.
Yeah.
I want to throw this comment up though from James Dalton. He says bunts are good until you are bunting against the Mets after they gave up 3 straight singles.
Yeah, that's true.
Very true, James. That's a good point.
James.
Very good point.
We don't talk about, like you don't talk about Bruno. We don't talk about the Mets series. That's our new theme song.
There's going to be a point where they're just going to beat the daylights out of Scherzer, and I'm going to be so happy.
Oh, yeah.
God.
Well, they have hit him hard in the past, but it's been quite a few years. It's not this team.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. All right. I have a segment called Are You Worried Yet? I'm going to give you 3 players, and you tell me if you are worried about their start so far this season. And the first one we're going to start with is the youngster, Joey Bart. Through 35 at-bats, he is hitting a robust 171. 6 hits, 6 runs scored, 4 RBI, 326 on base, which is pretty good when you're hitting 171.
Yeah.
So he's walking. 371 slugging, 6 .97 OPS. He has struck out in almost half of his plate appearances. So he's got 35 at bats and 21 strikeouts. So, are you worried about Joey Bart yet?
You know, that's a tough one. I wasn't worried about a week ago. I'm getting a little more worried about the swings and misses. He seems to hit a little bit better at home. They're heading home after this to play in the Bay Bridge series, which I'm still just not a fan of interleague.
By the way, did you see how many fans were at the A's game the other day?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I honestly feel bad for them. They, even though I don't like the A's, being a Giants fan, just don't like the A's. But that fan base absolutely 100% deserves better than that. I mean,
and they are they are definitely showing their displeasure.
Yeah.
In the front office, in the ownership. And it's unfortunate because, I've mentioned before in the show, I've met Dave Cavall. I've talked to Dave Cavall. I've hung out with Dave Cavall. He seems like a really nice guy.
Yeah.
But he's said some things that are probably a little insensitive to those diehard A's fans. And, he's out there in Las Vegas trying to get, possibly put together something for the A's. And all it does is just makes the A's fans just hate the team even more. Yeah. But he also has to do his job, which is, if we can't get a stadium or a ballpark here, where can we get one? But when you're doing it and the fan base is just like, can you maybe do it in hiding? Do you have to do it in front of our faces? It's frustrating. And, the thing about A's fans, though, I feel like they are just like whatever right now. Like, they know that Billy Beane's going to find some players, but they also know that the second that those players are of value, he's just going to trade them for other players who in 2 or 3 years are going to come up and then have value. And then those guys are going to, so they understand the game and they're just like, yeah, I'm not going to get excited anymore. I'm not going to get frustrated, but I'm just not getting excited either.
Well, you know what? Honestly, I'd love to see Billy Beane in a different town.
Red Sox, remember the Red Sox wanted them?
Yeah. A team like that. I mean, somewhere where he can go and really shine. He keeps building these. I mean, the A's are 9-8 on the season. And we'll get back to Joey Bart, I promise. They have a +9 run differential. They're winning ball games. They're a 500 club right now. It's not like they're tanking or anything.
They probably have the least expensive roster in baseball, if not then probably top or bottom 3.
I think they're second to last. Them and the Orioles, and those are the games that got 3,000 fans, 2,000 fans. It was the A's against the Orioles last week, and it was pathetic. And again, they deserve better. They deserve a new stadium. The A's fan. I'm seeing the comment there from James Dalton. Those were fans. That was the ushers. It could have been.
Maybe they counted them. I would count them. I would totally count the ushers to try and increase that number.
It could have been an attendance of 3,000. With the concessions and ushers, but
how many people had to be in that park because it was their job to be in that park?
Yeah, exactly. Well, and again, I'd love to see them get that little ballpark down there by the docks and everything. I mean, that's a really cool rendering, and the town. The fans love the A's, and I used to go to A's games when I was a kid when the Giants were out of town. Me and my buddies, we would drive up when we were in high school, and we'd drive up to Oakland or to Fremont, hop on the BART and go to Oakland and watch the A's game, sit for $5 on the wooden bleachers out there and watch the Red Sox come into town. I loved Dwight Evans, and then George Brett would come in with the Royals. And that was like the thing to do. And I'm just telling you how old I am. That's how long ago that was.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think they absolutely deserve better. I think it's sickening to watch, and you know, I know everybody's making fun of it and stuff, but God, I feel so bad for the fans, because I know if that was our team, I would be devastated. You know, I try not to let sports get to me too much at my age now, but something like that, where it's like, you're not even giving us a chance to enjoy the summer of baseball, which every fan has, you know, the privilege to do in this country. If you're a baseball fan, a big baseball fan like us, you look forward to the summer. You have the Giants games on, you have your team's games on, you're at the beach. We go to Tahoe. I put the game on the phone so I can hear it on the Bluetooth speaker while I'm just sitting there having a beer and splashing around in the lake and stuff. I mean, that is the thing. That is the summer. And to kind of take that away and say, look, we're going to take away all your favorite players, and we're going to bring up these other guys or sign some other dudes. And this is what you're going to deal with this summer, just because we want to get out of here. We want to get out of Oakland, or we want a new stadium. I just think it's tough. It's tough for the fans.
They also have one of the richest owners in baseball, by the way.
Yeah, which is frustrating. So Joey Bart, I'm more worried about this week than I was last week. During this week, and I apologize, Joey Bart, but during this week, I traded for you in my fantasy league, which is usually the death knell for everybody that I trade for. They slump. Sometimes they come back. And I hope that's the case, because we're battling out for first place right now, me and you and a couple other teams.
So as we are doing this podcast,
yes,
one Luis Gonzalez was battling the pitcher. I forget the pitcher's name for the Brewers.
Cousins,
and he
right?
just
Cousins.
Boogie Cousins. He just yoked one down the right field line. It stayed foul by probably like 2 or 3 feet. And it was a deep shot. Or I'm sorry, it stayed fair. And the Giants are now up 4-2.
Ooh, that is a towering shot. Wow, look at that. Luis Gonzalez.
You know,
good for him,
you know
man.
what I think it is? I think it's I noticed Luke Williams was back in the dugout. And I just think he's good luck.
I think so. You just have to touch the golden mane.
Yes, exactly.
And you hit home runs. I think that's what it is.
Okay, so, you know, we're kind of going off tangent here, but Luis Gonzalez, he's the type of player who really, like, he plays so hard. He's got his uniform dirty. He's still in bags. He's drag bunting. Like, he fits this team so perfectly. But he's gonna have to go down at some point, because Wade's coming. You know, Wade's coming back. Baby Yaz is coming back. But it's like this dude who can be a benefit to the team. You know, I guess he just got to stay ready, because man, what a perfect Giant so far he's been.
Yeah, no, and you got Elliot Ramos too. But see, Luis Gonzalez left-hander, Elliot Ramos right-hander. But to have those guns in those bullets in your chamber all year long, that's exactly what Farhan has talked about, making the 40 man as strong as can be from number 1 to number 40. And the Giants have done a great job of doing that the last couple of years. So to have that, they're going to have to wait, but they're young. They understand. I mean, it's going to happen. I mean, Yaz is older. We got another base hit here.
Yep.
Tyro with a double. Very nice. I picked up Tyro, and he's doing fantastic. So Joey, there is hope for you that even though I traded for you, you're going to turn it on.
How old is Luis Gonzalez, by the way? He is 26. So he's still fairly young.
Yeah, so fairly young. Jock Peterson's on a 1-year deal. That's your left-handed bat. Does Luis Gonzalez turn into a guy who can hit 25, 30 home runs? Yeah, maybe. You know, he's fast. He can steal some bases too. Does he take Jock Peterson's place next season? I mean, the Giants, to be in that luxury situation that the Giants are in right now is great. And to also be winning games where you're not now thinking, you know, how we were thinking a couple of years ago, well, wait till we get to July. These guys are doing good. And then once we get to July, we can trade them off and bring up the young guys, and then we can get some prospects for them. We're not thinking that way anymore, which is a nice change.
All right, I'm gonna subtract one, so
Okay.
I'll give you
All right.
one more because I didn't know what was gonna happen with this baseball game. Let's go Darren Ruff. Now, Darren Ruff is somebody who Farhan said, we believe Darren Ruff is better than a lot of these guys who are out here in free agency. So we are going to bet on Darren Ruff to be that guy. Darren Ruff, 58 at-bats. He's got 10 hits for a 172 average. And this is somebody who's hitting like in the third hole, like almost every game so far.
Yeah.
6 runs scored, 3 RBI, 304 on base. This is the one that hurts. 207 slugging.
Yeah.
And yeah, a -3 WAR, which doesn't really mean it. A -0.3 WAR, which doesn't mean anything yet because WAR is going to go up a little bit as the season goes on and as he gets a few home runs and such. But yeah, Darren Ruff, I feel like, if he's hitting 5, 6, 7 hole, you can kind of deal with this better, but he's hitting in the 3 slot. And, Belt has had some good power numbers. And then when you get to that 3 spot and Darren Ruff is just over.
Yeah. I don't see him hitting there once Longoria comes back, once Listella comes back. That will lengthen that lineup. I think Ruff is just kind of in a tough spot right now. He's kind of out of his element batting third. I think I'm looking at the Giants website at the stats, and I think they're updated in real time. So I have an update on his slugging percentage. It is 0.197. So just below the Mendoza line now, because I think he's 0 for 3 tonight.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not worried about him though, because I think once he gets in his element of maybe batting 5th, 6th, I think, because again, once they lengthen that lineup with Listella and Longoria coming back, and Lamont Wade Jr. is going to get plugged in there, but Lamont Wade will either be at the top or 8 or 9. Joey Bard starts coming around. You punch him up higher up in the lineup because you'd like to have a little bit more power in that 5 or 6 spot, not necessarily having Joey Bard hitting 9th. But I'm not worried about it because he's got the 11 walks. His on base percentage is 308. He's seen the ball well. He's taking pitches. Earlier in the season, I mean, the first week or two, or first week in San Francisco, he could have had 3 home runs. That slugging percentage could be up around 500 maybe with those couple of home runs. So no, he is not one I'm worried about. I'm just calling this a slow start.
All right. So let's end the show by giving your quick 2-minute review of the new version of MLB The Show. Now, I was trying to remember when's the first time I got the show, because it came out for, was it was PS1 or PS2 the first year that it came out?
It was the PS2. And I want to say it was 2005 with Manny Ramirez on the cover.
All right,
does that sound about
I'll look
right?
I'll look it up. No, it goes all the way back to okay. So you're 100% right that the game The Show started in 2006. So David Ortiz was on the cover. So the predecessor was just called MLB, but then they made it The Show in 2006.
Okay. I'm thinking of Manny Ramirez was on the cover of
MVP
05. That was that was EA Sports last year of baseball. Then MLB, whatever, I guess it was called MLB. So yeah, MLB 98, 99, 2000, 989 Sports was the one who was putting it together beforehand. So MLB 06, The Show. I bought that for the PlayStation 2 because there was no MVP 06 coming out. There was, EA did put out a college baseball.
I had that game.
I bought that. I played at San Jose State. I had a really good time. That was a lot of fun. The ping of the bat.
Yeah.
So I've actually owned, let me see. I didn't own '07. I told you the other day I thought I owned all of them, but I don't think I did. I think I '06. Yeah, pretty much most of these I've owned. There are a few I did not.
I skipped the last 3 that were PS4.
Okay.
So I went the Griffey. So 17 was Griffey. And then
Yeah.
I skipped 18, 19, 20. But then I was back last year in 21. And now I'm 100% back.
Yeah.
Like
No,
we were talking about, I was like, do I get the game? I didn't play it enough last year. And then, my whole thing is I only play these video games so that I can communicate with my kids.
yeah.
And Brian plays it so much, and it's like a job to him to grind through all these things. So I was like, okay, I'll figure out what he's doing and I'll do my best. And now I'm in. Like I'm just like, okay, I'm kind of in. And we played the co-op against some other. I don't know exactly how many people we played, but there was 3 of us, and we played against another team, and we won 6-2.
So how does that work? So you do so now in Diamond Dynasty, they have the online co-op.
Yeah.
So it's like a 2-on-2 or 3 versus 3. So how does that work when you 3 are on the same team?
Yeah. You just picked, I think we got to pick our 3 hitters, but obviously they had to fill positions. So you had to fill specific positions. And then we had to pick our 3 pitchers, our 3 best pitchers. And then
and these are from the cards that you own.
the cards that we had. And so then the other ones that we didn't fill, I think they just picked them for us. And so every inning, if I pitched the first inning, then I'd play infield the second inning, then I'd play outfield the third inning, and then I'd pitch in the 4th inning again. So you just rotated like that. And then they rotate you through the order as well. So it's like I would hit first, then I would hit 4th, then I would hit 7th. And so you just did that, and we had a lot of fun. Though it did take a while. It was a full 9-inning game, so it was like almost an hour that we played.
Wow.
So that's a little long. I was like, maybe they should do some 3-inning games or some 7-inning games or something. But it was still really fun, and you get a lot of XP for it, so it was worth it. And I'm having a lot of fun with the game. And I didn't play it all that much last year. I know you played it a lot more than I did, but I feel like we both sort of understand the 1-player mode a lot better this year. So we kind of know what to do.
Yeah, with Diamond Dynasty, I knew that's one of those things that probably about 2 or 3 years ago, I crapped all over it. I was like, I'll never play Diamond Dynasty. It is not my thing. I'm only playing Road to the Show and Franchise.
Yep.
Well, then last year was the first time that I grabbed the game and said, okay, I'm going to figure out Diamond Dynasty. Went to YouTube, watched some videos. Then you start opening card packs. And then you get addicted to this because you're like, I'm opening card packs and I'm getting these. I've got Willie Mays and I got to put him in the outfield. I got to play with him and do this and that. And then it starts with now this year I'm fully in on how do I get the most XP? How do I, level up to get all of these bonus packs and cards before this program runs out? But we're still, even though we're good at it and we understand it now, we're still texting Bri regularly to say, all right, I got this. Now what do I do? Like, you do this, this, and that. And so we still need the tutelage of Bri to get us through this.
So you and I were born in the very beginning stages of what video games were. Like we like our generation, because we played them, like we're very familiar with games. And so like people who are older than us, they're like, why do you waste your time? Like this is dumb. But we were born right at the perfect time where we had an Atari 2600 or whatever, and you were able to play something, or arcades were big for us when we were growing up. So video games were right then and there. But for Brian, when Brian was like 3 years old, he knew how to put Super Mario 3D in the N64 and he knew how to play it. And then when he's 4 years old, then he'd like beat the game.
Yeah.
And so like his entire life has been, where video games has always been a part of his life. So this is kind of his hobby when he's just kind of like, like after work is done, after school is done. For us, maybe it's a little bit of watching TV, and for him, it's like the mindless thing is like, oh, I'm just going to go grind on this game for an hour, and then that's how he does it.
Well, and the thing with that generation too is they are so in tuned with, okay, now they've added this new mode to the game.
Mm-hmm.
A day into doing it, they understand it. They know how to do it because they can talk to their friends, and their friends are like, yeah, this is how you do it, blah, blah, blah. They introduce a new mode to for us, like Diamond Dynasty, and we're like, whoa. Hey, I want to play as the Giants through an entire season of the game. Now we look at franchise and we go, I don't have the time for franchise.
No.
I have the time to get into a 3-inning game in Diamond Dynasty, win that, conquer that map, and get the 8 packs that go with it. Satisfaction, done. I don't have time to sit there and play a 9-inning game 162 times. We just can't do that. Road to the Show, I still play religiously. I love that mode. Lots of XP, lots of fun, get all this cool equipment. Your dude becomes a masher. You get all these records and everything. So still love the game. I think this is a good version of it. I'm still waiting for the day when the faces don't look like this. When they're just cardboard cutouts of faces that are not emotional. So someday, I thought with a PlayStation 5 we would get that, but I have to say PlayStation 5, Road to the Show, playing MLB The Show on the 4K TV is just a really fun thing. The lighting is phenomenal. It's such a fun game just to look at. You feel like you're at the park. So highly recommend.
See, the thing about it, and I think the Giants have just won the game here.
Oh, sweet.
Duvall comes in, gets fly out, strike out, and dribbler to Brandon Belt to end the game. Giants win 4-2. Luis Gonzalez and Jock Peterson should does the NHL still do like stars of the game or whatever?
I think they do.
They would get them. Mac Cheese, not so much. But it
was very business-like, uneventful. Get in here, win this game,
now go home and play the A's, and then bring in the Nationals again.
Yeah,
that's what they're doing.
The nice thing is they get a day off. They finally get a day off, so they're flying home tonight. They're flying home right now. They're going to head on the plane. Then they play tomorrow night against the A's, and then Wednesday. Then they get a day off at home on Thursday.
Yeah,
you think they're going to sleep all day?
Sleep in a little bit.
Yeah. Play some show.
Play some show. Yeah. And the other thing, and we're going to get out of here. When we were growing up, I would sort of envision what I thought was the sort of the apex of what a video game could do.
Yeah.
And then the NBA Live came out, and I was like, oh, that was the peak of what I thought video games could be, like what my brain thought. And that was 1995. And now, like what they're doing with games now, like imagine if our imagination was like where games tapped out. We'd still be playing, games from like 1995. But these brilliant minds of these engineers and these coders and these folks who put the stuff together, great people. Thank you for being in our lives.
I always thought to myself too when I used to play MVP, MVP 05, whatever. I always thought it'd be so cool to like play from a player's perspective.
Yeah,
and then the show comes out. And you could play from the player's perspective where you're looking at home plate and you're fielding ground balls at second base. And so I still love that part of it. And I know you don't like the fielding part, but in Road to the Show, when you're like the center fielder and they hit the ball and you're just running, you're like, oh my God, I hope I catch this. It was that feeling of like when I used to play, like, oh my God, I got to track this thing down. Let's go. So to have that is fun. That versus, what's the big basketball game now? It escaped me for a second. 2K. So between that and 2K, do you think you'll spend more time in one or the other this year?
No, I think what happens is once 2K's new game comes out in August, then we'll sort of be off of the baseball game. And then when the show comes out again in March, then we'll be off of the 2K. It's just going to be this thing for the next few years where it's like one game we spend 6 months on and the other game we spend 6 months on.
So now for 2K, the basketball game, for you, the mode is my player, right?
My player, but they do a great job of everything being in the metaverse, and that's kind of the key to all of it. So I think the once the show figures out how you can get your group of friends together and play against other friends in less of a time suck than an hour and have that mean something to the overall experience, I think that's the next level for the show.
Yeah, for sure. Because I remember there was one of the college football games from EA Sports back in the day. You got to like decorate your dorm. So you would go and it was like on your off day, are you going to go on a date with your girlfriend or study and this and that? And that would change your attributes and everything. So for the show, when you're in the minors, it's like, what on your off day, you can either lift weights and get better at power, or you could do this. But no, I mean,
exactly. That's the next level as well for it is making, because like in NBA 2K, one of the linear things that you're doing at the same time as you're playing is you're starting your hip hop career.
Oh.
And so you're going to find the game and you're trying to get with him so that you can help him with his concept. And so there's like all these linear things that happen all at the same time where you're you're not just playing basketball, you're also unlocking all these other things. That's the next level for the show as well.
Yeah. I really hope that they advance that part of it, because right now I feel like it is Diamond Dynasty heavy. Road to the Show is there. And franchise is like, if you really want to, we still have it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, that'll be it from here. We will be back next week, and Giants kicked off next week very well. So I'm hoping we have more of those than we have losses. And with the A's and the Nationals, what do you think? We got what is it? Is it 5 more games this week?
It's 5 more games. So this one plus 5.
God, 4-1. 4-1 in those 5.
How about 5? I'm trying to think of it. I mean, what?
Rodon goes tomorrow.
Yeah, Rodon goes tomorrow.
There's going to be another bullpen game.
There's going to be another. Absolutely, there might even be 2 bullpen games because you're going to have Rodon. Is Wood going to be ready to? No, probably not. Right? Wood was. Was he Saturday?
Saturday, I think.
No, he's not going to be ready to go until the first game of the National Series, and then Webb would go. So we might actually get a bullpen game on Wednesday and a bullpen game on Sunday. It's possible. Very possible.
Well, they have figured out a way to do all of this. So I'm very, very interested to see what they do. All right. So we'll be back next week. For Brad, I am a Double G. We'll see you when we see you. Peace out.
Peace.